Watch this and look at the date. It was incredible what is in these 2 pages. The NSA and CIA had evidence that the Russians had placed malware in the election registration system in areas with higher percentages of Black residents. The malware could erase every 10th vote. They know about this stuff. They know it's going on, and they are not telling us. This is exactly the type of malware that we have been talking about on this program.
Who would you like the winner to be? He's only got 219 votes. You think we can pull that off? I'm going to type the code in.
We saw Basil's votes go from 219 to, I think, 28,000, right, Benny?
Yeah, he had a good night.
He did. Our elections are in disrepair, if you haven't noticed, and we are here collectively to create a democracy that is inclusive and accurate and works for everybody. Did you see the date? September of 2020. We've been talking to you about this stuff from even before that. But that date where we talked about Bob Woodward's rage and the specific information that was in that, September of 2020, before the 2020 election. Now watch this and look at the date.
Bob Woodward did great reporting where he came out with his book in 2020, Rage, which I'll give you a quote here. That book said that malware, which had been placed in St. Lucie County, could erase every 10th voter, almost certainly reducing the vote count. This is from a reported briefing that happened with all the top intelligence officials to President Trump in 2018.
In 2018, President Trump was told specifically how to hack an election. I wonder if that was interesting to him. I wonder if it was interesting to the Democrats, who certainly must have also read Bob Woodward's book. We've been telling you about this problem for years. Alison has been telling you about this problem for years. She's been digging in and doing really great research, incredible research, year after year. The reason that I say this now is because you won an election, do not think that the problem has gone away. It has not. That's what happened in 2020. The Democrats won the election, and then they decided that all of this information about the vulnerabilities of our election was just a big lie. It's not a big lie. All of the election infrastructure is highly vulnerable. And whether or not you won the election, that still has to be addressed. No matter who wins the election, the vulnerability of our election systems has to be addressed, or this problem will keep coming back to bite us in the ass election cycle after election cycle. And unfortunately, this is not an easy problem to solve. It might seem like a simple problem, like let's just count the votes together in public by hand. It is not a simple problem. And because it's a long-term complex problem, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to solve. Now, I know that's always frustrating when you hear something that you want solved immediately and seems like that we needed to solve yesterday is going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to solve, but that's just the reality of it. And the sooner we come to terms with the reality of it, the sooner we are going to be able to actually start addressing the problem. So why is it going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to solve this problem? Because one, we need to completely re-educate the US public and the media about the trustworthiness of US elections. People have been told from the time they were young enough to understand about democracy that US elections were perfect and that everything was being counted accurately and securely. And if you've been told that your whole life, it's going to take some adjusting to start to ask the questions that need to be asked, and then maybe take a step and get involved and start to participate in the solution. So this is really a large undertaking, not a short-term quick fix. And then once people do understand the problem, I believe, and I've been looking at this problem for about 20 years, I believe that really the only solution is to train an entire corps, a huge army of advocates who will be monitoring and protecting and investigating their own local elections in real time, each election cycle, and that it becomes part of your lifestyle, one of the things that you do, the same way that you vote every election, if you vote every election, hopefully you do, but the same way that you participate by voting, you understand that you have to also participate in the monitoring and the protection of the elections. And it does take time and it does take training. It's actually really complicated to start to understand all the different systems and the different pressure points that have to be checked in order to actually have confidence in the results. So if you agree, like me, that this is incredibly important and needs to be addressed, then I'm going to ask you to do a couple things. I'm going to ask you to go to our website, smartelections.us, and sign up for Count the Vote. Count the Vote is our comprehensive election verification program where we will be monitoring and protecting elections in every single state during the midterms. And we want you to be part of it. We want you to join. And while you're there, please take the time to make a tax-deductible donation. We need to raise money in order to do this. There is just really no other way to do the amount of organizing and communicating and research that actually needs to be done. We believe that we need to raise $500,000 in order to really protect the midterms. And organizations raise much, much larger amounts of money for issues that are much less urgent. So it really, in the scheme of things, comparatively, is not that much money in terms of what we're actually trying to do. So I do encourage you to reach out if you have friends who are interested in this, especially if you have friends with deep pockets. Talk to them and say, hey, I think this is the most urgent issue facing us right now. And please, more than anything, don't think that because this election went your way, every election going forward is going to be okay now, because the actual problems with the elections remain. They are deep underlying problems, and it is time for us to address them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who's been working on this. Thank you for everyone who's been donating, and thank you for caring enough to protect your vote.